This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
The state opposition has raised allegations in Parliament today surrounding patient discharge at the Royal Hobart Hospital. Labor claims a mental health patient was inappropriately sent away from the emergency department last night due to bed pressures. It's been strongly refuted by the Tasmanian Health Service and the Minister.
This was the match that lit question time.
A seriously ill mental health patient with a history of self-harm was transferred from the Royal Hobart Hospital to a hotel outside of Hobart because there were no available beds.
The opposition leader alleging staff at the hospital raised the alarm with her office due to the patient's condition.
This patient was left at this hotel last night without supervision, with little regard for safety and with no follow-up care despite being in a dangerously ill state.
The patient that I believe Ms White is referring to presented to the emergency department, was discharged from the emergency department by qualified staff based on clinical advice.
Further advice from the Tasmanian Health Service indicating the patient in question was homeless, confirming short-term accommodation was provided, rejecting any assertion acutely unwell people have been sent away from the hospital.
The patient that I believe that is being referred to was a voluntary patient, wanted discharge, was happy to go to accommodation temporarily.
But the opposition leader isn't backing down.
Staff have shared with us concerns that they've been asked by the Tasmanian Health Service to identify patients who would be eligible to be transferred to a motel or a hotel instead of remaining in the care of the Tasmanian Health Service.
I really do think that it's ridiculing our hard-working staff for doing what's right by a person who, having received their medical care and is ready for discharge, to help them find some short-term accommodation so that they're not turfed out onto the street.
The Mental Health Council pointing to broader inadequacies with transitional accommodation for mental health patients.
So we have some areas and some services which are able to deliver it relatively well. What we don't have is a seamless joined up system.
There are a range of accommodation and supported accommodation options in Tasmania which are THS run.
Options those in the sector say could be further developed. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
Meanwhile, there has been some relief for patients at the Royal Hobart. It's back operating on a level 3 escalation after being at its highest level since Monday. It means elective surgery can now resume. This morning, there were 20 patients in the emergency department, with 12 in beds waiting to be transferred to a ward. Hospital authorities say a spike in flu and gastro cases continues to put pressure on the hospital. A coroner has found 2 men who died on a fishing trip in the state's northeast almost 2 years ago were not adequately prepared. John Harrison and Danny Viney drowned off Waterhouse Point in December 2015. The coroner found the boat was nearly overloaded and had no anchor or flares. Only 1 oar was on board, along with a garden shovel being used as a makeshift paddle. Neither of the men had a current boat licence. The coroner is now urging all recreational boat users to educate themselves in boat safety and ensure vessels are properly equipped. A shed fire at Claremont overnight has led to an unexpected find. Fire crews were called to the blaze just after 8:30. Damage was limited to the shed and a vehicle inside it.
We've determined that the fire was accidental through our investigation this morning. Estimated value is about $100,000 with contents and structure.
In the wake of the fire, detectives discovered the destroyed vehicle was in fact stolen. Police say investigations are continuing and are calling on anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers anonymously. Emergency services are currently responding to an incident at Healthy Hills Nature Reserve at Broadmarsh in the state's south. Police say a 60-year-old man has fallen down a cliff but is believed to be conscious. The extent of his injuries are unknown. An advanced refuelling technique has helped critical supplies reach our most remote Antarctic station by air for the first time. The successful trial means the country's most isolated workers can now receive fresh food and mail all year round.
A very special delivery. Food, mechanical supplies, medication, even letters from loved ones loaded onto military aircraft. The destination, Davis Station, nearly 5,000 kilometres from Tasmania, possibly the world's loneliest workplace, but home to a team of secluded scientists.
From fauna and flora through to glaciology, the study of ice, and also atmospheric science, among many others.
This is the first time supplies have been airdropped to the station. Previously, goods came by boat, with deliveries restricted to the warmer months.
During winter, that sea ice extends out for hundreds of miles and makes it impassable.
This extraordinary mission made possible by refuelling in mid-air.
And stable on fuel flow.
Fuel will flow at around about the rate of 5,000 pounds per minute.
Helping to keep in touch with a desolate destination. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Emergency services have put their skills to the test in a simulated emergency at Hobart Airport. Crews were called to an aircraft suffering a technical issue with numerous casualties.
And with that, the emergency unfolds. Passengers evacuate from a mock aircraft, coughing and injured. Airport firefighters are the first on scene. Their job to assess the situation and provide an initial response. In real life, this would be a rare event, but one our emergency services have to prepare for.
They're extremely rare, however we need to train and practice our response in case there is an emergency incident.
Airport operations continued as normal, with the exercise limited to a charter and freight area. Around 80 people were involved from various agencies, including police, fire and ambulance service, working together the main aim of today.
Well, the coordination aspect of any response to an airport is vitally important. It's a different type of environment, and it does need a level of knowledge so that a response is both timely and effective.
Under the watch of the Civil Aviation Safety Authority, the airport is required to carry out a field exercise like this at least every 2 years. But it's not the only time the airport and emergency services build a response.
We have numerous meetings throughout the year, and so we do practice that communication and coordination.
With observers watching over the exercise, there will be more lessons to learn.
We'll do both a hot debrief and a debrief in time, where we'll have lessons learnt, and we'll work on that.
Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
It was all smiles as children jumped a step closer to help save the lives of those suffering from heart disease. More than 1,400 students across the state are skipping to a healthier heart.
Hearts were pounding and excitement filled the air. These students know they are a step closer to saving the lives of many with just a rope and a big heart. They are among 1,400 children across the state jumping into action to draw attention to heart health.
Skipping makes me strong.
At only 10, Tom Sharman is making a difference to the lives of children across the nation. He has raised more than $950 to assist Jump Rope for Heart, a program supporting research into the cause and treatment of heart disease. 7-year-old Sophie Clark also raising hundreds with the help of her pocket money.
I'm saving $5 from my pocket money every week.
It's an initiative which has seen 54 schools in Tasmania participate.
Ropes get quite popular around this time of year. The kids get right into it, raising money. Some of them only small amounts, $5 here and there, which still makes a big difference.
According to the Heart Foundation, 1 in 4 Tasmanian children are overweight or obese.
Anything that you can do to get your heart rate up and get active is fantastic. This is a great way. It only takes a few jumps and your heart rate's already up.
Rita Risk, Southern Cross News.
Australian heroes and stories are being transformed in a performance by Kings Meadows High School. The play Lucky follows 2 filmmakers trying to turn our history and heritage into a movie. But in a twist, their script is taken over by Hollywood producers who throw away cultural sensitivity for box office takings.
A Eureka stockade scene that's sort of set in a kung fu style. The First Fleet accidentally land at Bombay and there's a Bollywood dance number. Ned Kelly's history is changed.
The show gets underway at 7 tonight and tomorrow night at Launceston's Country Club. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has recovered much of its losses after a poor start, but has still closed marginally lower as weaker iron ore prices weighed upon the mining sector. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 4.5 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 80.43 US cents and just under 67 euro cents.
An emotional Tom Couch has expressed his respect and praise for his North Launceston side as they prepare to play in their fourth grand final in a row. They thumped Lauderdale by 94 points a couple of weekends ago, but the Bombers certainly aren't expecting another whitewash.
You'd be flat out to find anyone who isn't tipping them to take the flag, but for the Bombers coach, it's all just white noise.
Being the son of a Brownlow medalist growing up in Geelong, you've always hearing opinions and things like that, and you sort of got to a stage where you just don't care.
What he does care about is the 21 other men he'll be leading into battle come Saturday, and the group has clearly had a big impact on Couch in his first season in the TSL.
I absolutely love him. Like I've said it on numerous occasions, Taylor's the best captain that I've seen in footy. That's AFL, SANFL, VFL, and I've said that from the start.
It's been seamless. Tom's come in and made great relationships, brought in some great ideas football-wise, and it's just all around been a really good person to have around the football club. I don't think anyone's got a bad word to say about him.
For a few of the senior list, it will be their fourth grand final in a row.
It's funny that you try and tell the players, look, they don't come around too often, but for a few of them it does, so you just got to enjoy it.
But for 8 players, it will be their first taste of the big dance.
I mean, when I was that age playing senior footy, we were finishing 8th every year, so for them to play in a grand final at that age is, I hope they understand the privilege it is, and I'm sure they will.
And despite humbling Lauderdale by 94 points last time the sides met, the Northern Bombers are preparing for an all-out war at UTAS Stadium come 3:30 Saturday afternoon.
We're looking forward to it. We've played them 3 times now, so I don't think there will be any surprises from either side. It's going to be a great challenge, it always is.
Kings Meadows has stunned St Virgil's to take out this year's Tassie Hawks Cup. After losing earlier in the day by 53 points in the round-robin stage, Kings Meadows rebounded in the grand final to sneak home by 6 points. The win evening the ledger with St Virgil's, who were crowned premiers in 2016. The competition involves the best secondary schools from the north, south and northwest. Organisers thrilled with the performances on show.
We're really keen to see the talent really encouraged and people grow.
Ulverston was defeated in both of its games. Well, he almost lost a family member in the hours leading up to his fight at City Hall on Saturday night, with his auntie collapsing in the crowd and having to be brought back to life. But amidst all the chaos, Jaden Plugger Joseph managed to control his emotions and go on to become the state's first cruiserweight champion.
As Joseph was mentally preparing for the biggest fight of his career, disaster struck out of the blue.
I seen the doctors run over there to my table where I knew where my family was, so I ran over there and seen my auntie on the ground, and it wasn't looking good. Like she was dead for 25 minutes.
After she was rushed to hospital, Plugger stepped into the ring with no idea whether his auntie would make it through the night.
It's hard to continue to go on and think about boxing when you've just seen your auntie die.
But amazingly, she survived, and her nephew went on to become the inaugural Tasmanian Cruiserweight champion in an 8-round war against one of his childhood heroes, Johnny Brown.
We come from a hard, tough local area, grew up with each other, so it means a lot to me, that fight, especially doing it for me auntie. I want to be a Tassie legend, you got to beat Tassie legends. And I find Johnny's a Tassie legend.
Hailing from Clarendon Vale, the same notoriously rough neighbourhood that bred Luke Jackson, Joseph learned how to brawl from a young age.
A lot of drugs in the area, a lot of bad stuff going on in the area. Just, you got to survive, got to fight. always wanted a career. I always wanted to be something.
So at 16 years old, he made the decision to steer clear of trouble and dedicate himself to boxing. Now at 24, Saturday's win was another impressive notch to his professional belt, following this spectacular knockout of Nick Rundle at City Hall back in March. Joseph's next goal is to move into Australia's top 10 cruiserweight rankings before gunning for an Australian title, starting with his next bout in Melbourne in 4 weeks' time.
That's how I set my goals. I've done it as an amateur, I've done it as a pro, and keep going doing it until I get there.
Going to hear a bit more about Plugger Joseph?
Yes, I'll be a big name.
Good evening, Hobart. 16 degrees, Launceston 13, while Burnie and Devonport had 12 today. 17 was the high at Bushy Park and Campania, with a light shower once again over the west and north. Grove and Fingal 16, St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Ooze 15. Strawn, Bridport and the Islands 14 today. Wynyard and Lyowini both getting to 12 degrees. A cloud band with embedded thunderstorms are situated over the Bight, with low-level cloud pushing onshore as well over southwest WA. The majority of the mainland remains cloud-free, with a bit off the east coast over the Tasman and Coral Seas. Low and mid-level cloud cross Tasmania today, pretty blowy. Tomorrow, the cold front over the Bight moves closer to Tasmania. A trough lies through central Australia, with a low approaching the southwest of WA. North to northwesterly winds at 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 knots about the west and south, ahead of a westerly change in the afternoon. Strong winds inland as well, so we have a strong wind warning for those areas between Tasman Island and Sandy Cape, and also a small craft wind alert for the lakes. A shower or two for Hobart tomorrow, 20 the top, 19 for Cygnet, a shower or two for New Norfolk and 20 degrees. Launceston showery, 17 the maximum, 16 for Devonport, a shower or two for Campbelltown, 17. Burnie showery, 15, 17 for Strawn with the wind blowing in over the west, and Smithton showery 2. And in the east tomorrow, a shower or two possibly, St Helens 19, up to 20 for Swansea, Fingal 18 degrees. On Friday, showers over the west and south, clearing for a period with late showers elsewhere. A showery day on Saturday, more frequent in the west with gusty winds, and showers extending statewide on Sunday, just to keep this weather consistent. Showers increasing over Perth tomorrow. Sunny for Adelaide though, a shower developing for Melbourne. Mostly sunny weather for Canberra and Sydney, fine but partly cloudy over Brisbane. 12 and overcast in Hobart, a bit showery over Launceston, overcast in Devonport. And Joe, looking at you over there reminds me of my childhood, when the only milkshakes you could get were chocolate, strawberry and vanilla. Then they invented the lime one. It was terrible. Thanks for the memory.
You're terrible. Thank you, Merv.